Today we'll be discussing how life is both diverse and unified.
One of the major topics today is chemistry of life, specifically major postulates of life and water. Before we can assess how life is both diverse and unified, we must identify how an object is classified as living. There are 8 major postulates for determining if something is living or not. These major postulates are that all living things are made of cells. Some may be unicellular. They must be able to reproduce asexually or sexually, have a common genetic code, and must be able to grow and develop. Additionally, living things must also use and obtain energy via metabolism, respond to stimuli in their environment, be able to maintain stable internal conditions, for example, sweat, and finally they must be capable of evolving. Next, water. All life is dependent on the presence of water. Water is comprised of 2 hydrogens sharing a covalent bond with oxygen to form hydrogen bonds. Each hydrogen bond is attracted to each other by something called cohesion. One of water's properties is that it is a good solvent that can dissolve things like sugar or salt. These are called hydrophilic substances, and hydrophobic substances cannot be dissolved by water because of the cohesive bonds of water. One of water's properties is that frozen water is less dense than liquid water. This helps sustain marine ecosystems and control sea levels. Additionally, water has a high heat capacity, which means it is difficult for water to lose its heat. With regard to the ocean, this helps sustain the temperature and climate of the world.
Cells. Cells appear in all of life on Earth, but not all cells are the same. There are 2 types of cells that can be found in many different organisms: prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. Prokaryotic cells are unicellular and lack many of the membrane-bound organelles that eukaryotic cells have. They also do not have a nucleus. These cells have cytoplasm, free-floating DNA, ribosomes, a cell wall and membrane, and occasionally a flagellum. Eukaryotic cells have a nucleus in all the organisms that the prokaryotic cells lack. Again, these cells differ from each other. Eukaryotic cells differ from plants to animals. Plant cells have a cell wall, a large vacuole, and chloroplast that the animal cells don't have. Cells also have differences and similarities when it comes to transportation in and out of the cell. All forms of transportation are used for transportation across the permeable membrane, but the transportation can be active or passive. Passive transport does not require energy because the cells travel down the concentration gradient. Active transport requires energy to move particles up the concentration gradient of the membrane. The energy source used in active transport is ATP, which is made in the mitochondria. Other than the nucleus, the mitochondria are the only other organelle with DNA. Photosynthesis and respiration. Photosynthesis and respiration are both forms of how organisms make energy. Even though they are used for the same outcome, the way they obtain energy is in different ways. Photosynthesis is the process by which green plants create their own food by turning light energy into chemical food. This process occurs in the chloroplast. Conversely, cellular respiration is the process by which living things convert oxygen and glucose to carbon dioxide and water, thus creating energy. Another similarity is that both of these processes are used in plants to create energy. A difference is that photosynthesis is only used in green plants with chloroplast. Cellular respiration, on the other hand, occurs in all living organisms. Although photosynthesis is not used as widely as cellular respiration, since it is green plants' main energy source, it is the basis for all life and energy on Earth.
Photosynthesis and respiration could not occur without the presence of DNA instructing the cells what to do.
Created using Powtoon.